So, what does it mean to extend or show empathy? And does empathy mean we condone harmful actions? So, here's a question I've been reflecting on since the hearing on the unaliving of Kirk, also known as Charlie. Charlie was an American conservative whose death has divided opinions across the world. And in this video, I want to talk about why empathy does not mean condoning. I'll talk about my personal reflections, my connect it to a South African context, and explore what it means and what this moment can teach us. See, Charlie wasn't a neutral figure. He was openly against women's, children's rights, abortions, minorities, Muslims, immigrants, the LGBT community, and the Palestinians. You name it. He even dismissed empathy itself as made up. He mocked South Africans for being part of BRICS. He mocked South Africa for being part of BRICS, making fun of load shedding, or even doubled down of divisive politics. He believed guns save lives, and at the age of 31, he was shot and unalived at the University of Utah. His death sparked so many, and it split opinion. Some expressed grief while others celebrated. Social media was filled with debates on whether or not we should mourn him, mock him, or plain and simple, just ignore him. But to be honest, I have my own mixed feelings. No person deserves to die violently. But it is difficult to extend empathy for someone who showed very little of it to others, especially when he denied humanity to the Palestinians or ridiculed South African struggles. Now, the irony is heavy. A man who believed that guns in South Africa was killed by one. A man who dismissed empathy is now remembered with almost none. The tension made me stop and ask, what does empathy actually mean? And here's the thing. Empathy does not mean condoning. Empathy is recognizing humanity, even in the people you disagree with. It's saying that was a tragic way to die without saying, I agree with his beliefs. Now, condoning is different. Condoning is excusing harm. It's minimizing injustice or pretending that the words didn't matter. And I don't condone Charlie's views, but I can still reflect on his strategy and his death without celebrating it. See, in South Africa, we know this very well. After apartheid, the Truth and Reconciliation Commission encouraged forgiveness, but forgiveness never meant condoning crimes. People were still held accountable. The truth was told, and forgiveness was about choosing a future without repeating the past. The perspective reminds me of that empathy can exist without agreement, or forgiveness can exist without erasing accountability. But here's what I think of South Africans can learn from the situation. We must be careful not to become what we criticize, because Charlie's death shows what happens when hate speech and violence are normalized. When we celebrate political violence, when we dehumanize people for their views, we step into a very dangerous path. We've seen where that leads us to our own history. The words turn into actions. The us versus them thinking tears societies apart. So the lesson isn't to feel sorry for Kirk or pretend his views were acceptable. The lesson is that violence isn't the answer to hate speech, and that we can oppose someone's ideas without celebrating their death. Here's one thing I want you to take away. Forgiveness isn't letting someone harmful off the hook. It's not about being a pushover or pretending words have no consequences, because they do. But it's about choosing how you can carry your pain, your anger, or even indifference. You can forgive someone for your own peace sake while still holding someone else accountable. You can feel conflicted about someone's death while rejecting what they stood for. You can choose empathy without choosing enablement. Empathy is complex, especially when it's directed at the people who had none themselves. I think that's okay. I think that's okay because it shows that you're not a bad person for having conflicted feelings. Now, the goal isn't perfection. The goal is to become the person who can hold multiple truths while choose healing over hatred, and who build a better world without becoming the very thing you're trying to change. Now, I want to ask you then, how do you navigate forgiveness in your own life? Have you ever struggled to feel empathy for someone who caused harm? How do you celebrate forgiveness? How do you separate forgiveness from condoning? Please drop your comments. Please drop your thoughts in the comments. And if this video resonated, please like and subscribe. And also follow me on BothoWellness on all social media pages, where we can talk about these conversations about mental health and healing and what it means to be a human in a complicated world. Please guys, please take care of yourselves and each other. Thanks. Peace.